Hey guys, welcome to Mad Scientist BBQ. I'm Erica Yoder. Today, I'm at the restaurant where I had the very first bite of real barbecue I've ever had in my life. I'm at Terry Black's in Austin, where they're cooking 200 plus briskets a day, and they're making great food. Just in case you missed it, if you want this smoker to be yours, all you have to do is go to getenteredtowin.com/Mad Scientist BBQ. We partnered with a veteran-owned small business to make this a reality. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and I know whoever wins this thing is gonna absolutely love it. So go over there, you get an awesome coffee mug, and you get your own chance to have a 1,000-gallon smoker on a trailer. Just click on the link in the description. How's it going? A tray of meat is good. Cool. Terry Black's was the first real barbecue I ever had.
That's what Joe was saying.
Yeah.
That's 2015?
Yep.
Wow, man.
Way back in the day.
We opened.
Yeah.
It's been a long 8 years, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Where do y'all live?
Kentucky.
Okay. I've never been to Kentucky, to be honest, but my dad just went to Kansas City, though. I actually really liked it.
Oh, really?
Kansas City had some good stuff.
We're headed to Kansas City in about a week.
Oh, nice. He was there for one of the Elite 8 games or whatever.
Uh-huh.
And went to a couple spots. It was good.
Yeah.
So, I feel like the level of barbecue all over
has
the
improved.
last 5-10 years is obviously really kind of accelerated.
Oh.
Did y'all go out and look at the pits and all that here?
Not yet.
Did you do that last time you were here?
Nope. Last time I was here, I knew nothing. I just knew that this was much better than what I was making. Oh. There we go. Yeah. Even the lean is juicy. Oh man. Look at how juicy those ribs look.
You got into making sausage yet?
Not really. I've done it before, but I haven't decided to dive in.
A little bit of jalapeno cheese, a little bit of original in there, man.
Okay, awesome. There we go. Looks good. Dude, look at this. This is significantly more than I got last time. Yeah, we're sitting down here where Joe is. The very first time I came here, I was actually in Austin for work, and I knew that Austin had great barbecue, so I asked somebody, hey, where can I go to get barbecue after I got out of a conference? And they said, you know what, you should go to Terry Black's, they'll probably have food. And so I said, sure. I jumped into a cab, I got dropped off, I came inside and had a mind-blowing experience. The difference between the kind of barbecue that I was making and the kind of barbecue that they were making was light years apart. And so for me, it was one of those life-changing moments where I took a bite and I was like, oh, this is something completely different. And then the next night, and every night that I was in Austin since then, I've been eating barbecue because it's kind of like when people are on drugs, you know, they're after that first high. I'm still pursuing that first high of eating Terry Black's, and this is the first time I've had it since then. So I thought it was appropriate to come back to Terry Black's with Joe Yin, who actually worked here for about a year and has worked at a number of other top barbecue restaurants in the Austin area. So what is Terry Black's like in comparison to some of the other places we would know?
When you're talking about Austin barbecue, you usually go to places where they have the certain staples. They have beef ribs just on the weekends. They do beef ribs here every day. Also, it's like,
yes.
you know, when you
beef
see
ribs every day. Yes.
I don't even know how many sides they have now. There's like a board over there with a huge list. You really can kind of get any type of barbecue experience that you want. Also, this kind of middle ground between this old school barbecue, you know, getting the mac and cheese and the green beans and things like that, and also getting the quality barbecue that you would get out of these craft barbecue places you see nowadays. So it's like really that nice meal, and plus ample parking, and it's open for lunch and for dinner, so you can come whenever.
Yeah, that's unique. I feel like it's kind of a hybrid between craft barbecue and barbecue for every man.
Right.
You don't have to get in line at 6 a.m. if you want to eat food. but they're doing like super high quality stuff.
Yeah, there's 2 different sauces right here. So
All right.
this is kind of the classic. You got that's the original one, and then there's the
Okay.
jalapeno and cheddar. Personally, for myself, this sausage is out of everything that's on this menu on our tray. The original sausage is the thing that I ate the most of when I was working. It's just
That's
one of those
really,
things
really
that,
good.
yeah, I never really got sick of eating it. The jalapeno cheddar is great too.
The flavor profile is kind of middle of the road. It's not going to turn anybody off, I think. It's just really, really good.
Right.
Super juicy.
Yeah, super juicy, and the texture of the sausage is a little bit different than you get in most places as well. It's not super smooth. It's a little more coarse, but it just...
As good as the original is, I freaking love
Yeah.
that. I mean, this is great, but this is just so bursting with flavor. I mean, the cheese and the jalapeno come through. The cheese first, you taste it, and then kind of on the back end, you feel just like a subtle heat, and it's just super, super nice. Ribs, glistening.
Ribs are pretty much kind of the same style of like cooking style that you get in most places. I believe they're still using their spicy barbecue sauce for it, which isn't like a hot sauce, but it's kind of gives it a little bit of more depth of flavor to it.
This is exactly the flavor profile I like in ribs.
And it's
Yeah.
like, you know, I think the tenderness of what most people are looking for in a rib, like it's not overly cooked and
Yep.
it's not undercooked. It's like that right medium where I feel like you kind of encompass all people who like different type of textures.
Yeah, this to me, this is like about as close to perfect a rib as I've had. I mean, I have an idea of what I want ribs to turn out like, and it's like this.
And this is kind of where I learned my annoying tendency to want to
Yeah.
make sure the pepper on the bark is nice
Yep.
and even, because like that's the one thing where if I'm really trying to pay attention to, if someone is paying attention to the small details, is that pepper on that rib like nice and even, because you'll see it, especially with the sauce and everything that kind of starts to pop on it.
Dude, this is so good. Man. All right, let's check out this lean brisket.
Oh yeah.
Lean, right? But still juicy. That flavor, man. The fat just disintegrates when you take a bite.
I'm gonna take a little bite of this also. I like that little butt end right there, that lean.
It's got smoke flavor, it's got pepper, but nothing's overpowering. As good as that was, I want to try some of the fatty briskets. This slice has everything that I'm looking for. It's got bark on the outside. The fat has turned yellow because it's been rendered properly. The inside is juicy. I don't need this knife and fork. I can just tear it off. I'm gonna go for this end chunk. When the fat's just sticky and melts. Oh,
Is there what you remember the first time you went to Terry Black's?
yep. I remember sitting at the table and thinking, man, I've been doing it all wrong. Oh,
Well, shit, so good.
yeah, it's great.
Oh, we got burn ends too?
We got burn ends too.
Okay.
Look at that action. Yellow fat. Normally, like this amount of fat, I think is gratuitous, and I would take it off. But when I take a bite of it, it's just gonna be juice and like immediately disintegrates.
Especially those burn end pieces, when it has that fat, it has to be rendered. If not, it's not a good bite of barbecue.
Yeah.
I think the craziest thing about all this is that they're doing more brisket at this level than anyone else around here.
Right.
You know, there are no shortcuts like with cooking this food. As much as we're doing 200 plus briskets a day.
Yeah. You're trying to thread the needle between humongous quantity and top-notch quality.
Yeah, like there always has to be, you know, a super high standard of what you're trying to do. Because if the standard's not there and you're cooking this much, you kind of get lost in there.
Yeah. Beef rib. A little bit of fat on the top, but it's been rendered down. It just wants to fall off. So that's a good sign. So the bark to fatty beef ratio on this is going to be like maximum.
So right now you can kind of see like this side is a little oxidized because we've been talking too much.
But look at all that stuff. It's just packed with juice, rendered fat. It's going to be like candy. And there's no sauce on this, right?
No sauce, yeah.
It's like sticking to my fingers. Yeah, here we go. Oh.
Yeah, like, you know, if I would have worked at any other barbecue restaurant, I don't think I would have gotten as many reps cooking beef ribs, because working the overnight shift to start, like every day you're cooking 40 racks of beef ribs, and that's how I got my fuel for it quickly, just because the quantity of what you're doing. But again, as much as we're doing that, they would not sell out if it was overly cooked or if it was undercooked or it was tough. Like, it has to be done right.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. I was so scared to come back because I was afraid that this thing that I had built up in my head was going to be disappointing. You know, I was like, oh, but I remembered it was like magic. But no, this is so good. I've been eyeing this cornbread muffin this whole time, and it felt wrong to eat this before the meat, but I'm going to give it a shot here.
Cornbread and the sausage are the two things I've always eaten. It's just simple. It's just simple. That's all it is. Everything is consistent, and it's also very simple. All the sides they got, they're just simple sides, but just done really, really well. Like, the green beans are probably the thing that people come here most for.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, even this, it's sweet, but it's not overly sweet. Yeah. I can imagine working a shift back there in the pit room, and then the only thing I'd want to eat coming out would be like that cornbread.
Yeah, the only two things I ate was a sausage and a cornbread when I was working. Dude. It's just one of those things where it just hits the spot, and you're ready to work a couple more hours in the blistering heat. So.
Got some kale in there. Yep. In my head, that's kind of what I think about when I think about coleslaw.
Mm-hmm. It's your traditional, mayo-based slaw. I tell people all the time in my videos that slaw is probably my favorite, barbecue side. More so because it is kind of like the pickles and onions, and it is that palate cleanser that you can have throughout the meal.
Totally. I like those beans. All right, we gotta try the mac and cheese. Nice and cheesy. And satisfying.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole tray is nostalgia for me. To me, that reminds me of when we have shells and cheese at home that my mom would make. I mean, I've made gourmet mac and cheese and all kinds of different stuff. This one's not super sophisticated, but just hits the spot. Now, what they're doing with the barbecue is a lot more sophisticated, like high-level stuff.
Yeah, in terms of like the technique, but again, like the preparation of it and all that, sort of like the flavor of it is still kind of as simple as all the other sides are. It's just done to a level where it seems different.
Yeah, incredibly skillful. But this corn muffin thing, man, the crispy bits on the outside are everything. I remember we sat down and I saw the 3 sauces and I was like, you gotta try those. But I never once thought at any point during this, you know what this needs?
We needed sauce, right? Exactly.
But, okay, here's the thing. Great barbecue never needs sauce. But I love sauce. So you can work out that contradiction any way you want. I just know that I'll eat it by itself and then I will try sauce. Yeah. Can you hand me the original, Joe? Do you have a favorite of these?
I'll be honest with you. Whenever I eat here, I never use the sauce either. The only time I ever use a sauce is when we're prepping the ribs.
It tastes like some sweetness, like ketchup, but it's got enough tanginess, like enough vinegar in there, that when you put it on something fatty like this, or you make a sandwich, it's going to cut through it.
Right. Enough vinegar just to kind of drive through it and not make it heavier than it is.
Yeah, to balance it. Yeah, because a lot of times when you get those really sweet sauces, adding like super thick and sweet on top of it just makes it even heavier. Instead of just kind of, it lubricates it, like makes some flavors, pop that weren't popping before. But
it's all about balance, trying to find balance with everything. And that's the one thing that a sauce should never do, is take away that balance from whatever else.
All right, let's try sweet and then spicy. There's got to be some mustard in the sweet here.
To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know what's in it.
You don't know? Looks like there's some oil in this.
I know that there is some oil, but I don't know exactly what. So the only place that I haven't worked in this restaurant, I've worked the block, I've worked the dining room, the pit room. The only place I couldn't work, and I didn't want to because it's a well-oiled machine, is the kitchen. The kitchen that's one place I didn't want to step into and mess anything up.
Sure. Smell mustard. Was not expecting it to be that sweet. It is nice and sweet, but it's thin. If they did pulled pork, that's the sauce I would use on it. Yeah. All right, let's go spicy. I love spicy. Okay. This one's like halfway in between the first two in color. Yeah. So maybe there's some mustard and some ketchup as a base for this. I don't know.
No idea.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Oh, there's the spicy. The first thing I get is some sharpness from vinegar in there. Then I get sweetness. And then when that's dying down, I get the heat. And it just kind of carries on through.
I think most people, when they think of barbecue sauces, they always feel like they have to cook it. These are non-cooked barbecue sauces. I think because a lot of the more popular sauces are from like Kansas City, Memphis, and those areas where they are cooked down and they're great. But like I always try to, show people like not all barbecues have to, but you always have to worry about the viscosity because you're not cooking it down, right? There's certain elements that you have to balance when you're mixing all together.
I just did a test. I wanted to see if the meat flavor would get lost at all. It doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe because it's thin enough.
Like it's gonna run when you put it over a slice of brisket or beef. Right? Like it's not gonna just sit like a dollop on top.
Yeah. So this is a tremendously good tray of food. Kind of a hybrid between the craft barbecue that you might wait in line for many hours for and everyman's barbecue. The best part about this was I was actually terrified to come back here because in my head I had built up my first experience here as being so unbelievable that I thought this wouldn't stack up no matter how good it was. But it holds up every bit as much as it did the very first time I had it. Do you have any thoughts, Joe?
I think it's biased for me to say anything because I worked here, but like
and other
but
places.
For real, like this is like legitimate barbecue. Right?
Yeah.
It's not just a place I say you should go to because I've worked it before. I wouldn't tell people to come to a place if I didn't think it was so good. And it's like you can get literally everything. You're not gonna come here and like, oh man, they're out of that. Unless you're like the very last customer of the day. Like they will they work very hard to make sure that every single person who comes in can get the full barbecue experience that they want.
Totally. I got here at 3. I got a parking spot and I got a beautiful tray of food. Had a great experience. So I mean, for me, it's everything I'm looking for in a barbecue experience.
I agree. Yeah.
So if you guys are in Austin and you want some phenomenal barbecue and you want to be able to get it at more than just a 6 a.m. line in the morning, come check it out. You're going to be very, very pleased. I can promise you that. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button down below and subscribe to the channel. You can follow Joe at
Joe Yim on YouTube and Knox Ave Barbecue on Instagram.
On this stop on the smoker tour, by the way, you can win that smoker if you click on the link in the description. You can have your very own 1,000-gallon trailer pit. But you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Mad Scientist BBQ. We'll see you guys next time.